Beale ball has been played for the final time at Rangers as the club have decided to sack Michael Beale after his 3-1 defeat to Aberdeen. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Football, and it is all over for Michael Beale. Beale is done, dusted, finished at Rangers. He will no longer be the manager. He has left his role after Saturday's home defeat by Aberdeen, which seen them sit 7 points behind Celtic after only 7 games of the Scottish Premiership season. And I think this was coming. Combination of horrible form in the league, horrible football, dud after dud in the transfer market this summer, and then also you add in the Champions League defeat to PSV. That was a big blow too. Just too much was stacking up for Michael Beale, and when it stacked up, what it turned into was a big pile of shite, and the Rangers board can't have it. They've decided Michael Beale is no longer the man, Beale ball is no longer the plan, and he is out the door at Ibrox. Now, he will be replaced momentarily by former Rangers midfielder Stephen Davis. He is taking interim charge, and he will be supported by Alex Rae and coaches Stephen Smith, Brian Gilmore and Colin Stewart. So that is going to be the Rangers temporary managerial team until, I believe, the international break, where you would expect them to then assign a permanent manager. But it's disappointing news for Michael Beale, who leaves the club with less than 1 year in charge after he replaced Giovanni van Bronckhorst last November. I mean, it was going good for Beale, let's be honest, when he first came in. The football still wasn't great, but he did win 13 out of 14 games when he originally came into the club. The only draw was against Celtic in the first league Old Firm match. He signed Raskin, he signed Cantwell. It was beginning to look good for Michael Beale. People were thinking, what can Beale do once he gets a couple of transfer windows, because they were very impressed with Raskin and Cantwell. And I think everyone assumed that the rest of his signings would turn out to be similar levels to those guys, but that wasn't the case. We get to the summer, Michael Beale lets a lot of good Rangers players go. Cholak, good goal scorer, he's gone. Fashion Sakala had probably played the best of his Rangers career in the last 6 months under Beale, and he gets shipped out, and he decides to replace them with absolute duds like Dessers, Lammers, Sima, Danilo, brought in Cervantes, who's done nothing, Sterling, who we've barely seen. Just a lot of players have come into. Kieran Dowell, I mean, what a waste of a signing that is. I think Butland looks like the only guy, honestly, who's been half decent that Rangers have signed in the summer here. But it was, like I said, writing on the wall. Michael Beale could not survive this much longer. I thought he might have got a couple more games. I'm surprised they've sacked him now. I assumed they would have gave him the European game and then the St Mirren game, and then maybe make a decision after that. But it looks like, you know, they're probably planning on appointing a manager now during that international break. So if they get rid of Beale now, it gives them a couple of weeks to get somebody in, and they don't need to worry about anything in the meantime. They can just give that to Stephen Davis, who's going to be in interim charge. So, I mean, it makes sense. If they're planning on getting rid of Beale, the quicker they do it, the better. If they're not sure, then they probably should just get rid of him now. But I kind of thought he would get one more chance, as did Kenny Miller. But yeah, not good enough for Rangers this season. On the positive side, I guess at least they started the Europa League campaign well. They've got off to a win against Real Betis, and they're still in the Scottish League Cup. So whoever does come in is going to quickly be faced with a Hampden showdown against Hearts and an opportunity to get to a cup final and win his first trophy for the club. So whoever the manager is that comes into Rangers, he's going to have a chance to win a trophy. And even though it's only the Scottish League Cup, that's a big deal, because Rangers have only won 2 trophies in the past 12 years. So make no mistake about it, whoever comes in has got a big opportunity. But you could say that also adds to the pressure, because whoever comes in is going to be expected to win that cup. And if they can't win the cup from the semi-final stage without Celtic in it, then straight away the fans are going to be on their back. So it will be interesting to see what Rangers do here. Overall, probably is the correct decision. Let's be honest, if you manage Rangers or Celtic, second place is last, it is, but at the moment Rangers aren't just second, they're second by a distance. So I think Michael Beale will probably know that he hasn't done good enough this season. He'll be disappointed, and I think he may be expected, to be honest, after that Aberdeen game. I know he isn't going to come out and say, yo, I expect the board to sack me within the next 24 hours, 48 hours. That ain't going to happen. But I think you could tell his body language. I think he knew that his job was seriously on the line, and it turns out it was really on the line, and that he has been fired because of that. So the club did release a statement, and this is what that statement says, quote, "Results this season have fallen short of what everyone connected to Rangers would expect. Therefore, the decision was reached today to terminate the contract of the manager, as well as the contract of coaches Neil Banfield, Damien Matthew, Harry Watling and Jack Aid. The Rangers board would like to put on record their thanks to Michael and his staff for their efforts in joining the club last November." End of quote. Yeah, so even mentioning the time, their efforts at the club weren't there for long, were they? I mean, 9 months approximately. And it's poor. It's very, well, 10 months even, but still. Poor, not good enough for Michael Beale. And Rangers now, they really need to get this appointment right. They need to sign the right man here. They've not been good enough. Let's be real. Ever since 2012, the Rangers side's not been good enough. Since they got back into the league, they had that one season under Gerrard and Beale where obviously they won the league and they had that great record, unbeaten. I mean, that was fantastic. But outside of that, I mean, one cup, really? One cup since 2012, that's garbage. Not enough for Rangers. They should be winning a trophy every season. Rangers should be, if they can't win the league, they should be winning at least one of the cups. But for them to only win 2 trophies in 12 years, it's embarrassing. And you can't use we were in the lower leagues for any longer. You can't. I mean, maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago you could use that excuse, but Rangers have been in top flight now for a long time. They have won the league, so they were above Celtic, 20 odd points in front of Celtic. You can't keep using that excuse. Rangers should be pushing on now, and they should be winning trophies. But in the last 2 seasons, Celtic have won 5 out of 6, and that was a Celtic team that needed rebuilding. That was a Celtic team that basically had to scratch their entire squad and start fresh. So if Celtic can basically just turn over a new entire squad, new manager, if they can do that and then go on to win 5 out of the 6 next trophies, and let's be honest, it could have been 6 if they held on in that semi-final against Rangers. If they can do that, then surely Rangers should be able to come in and do something similar. Just appoint a new manager, appoint someone proven, spend a bit of money, say what you want about Brendan Rodgers, but he is a good manager. He's not elite like everyone claims he is, but he is a good manager. And I feel like that's what Rangers need to do. Michael Beale, unproven. Might be a decent coach, but as a manager, unproven. Steven Gerrard, it worked, but he was unproven. Gio Van Bronckhorst, I mean, he done okay, but I think Rangers need to go and sign someone good here, and that will be, I guess, everyone's talking point now for the next week or two. Who is the next Rangers manager going to be? Anyway, guys, that is it for Fog Football. Let me know your thoughts down below. Do you agree with this decision to sack Michael Beale? I do think his time was up. I feel sorry for the guy. I feel like it is harsh, it's very early, but that's football these days. You just don't get a lot of time, especially when you're in charge of Rangers. So it could have been so different. What would have happened? How would this season have played out had Rangers won that Old Firm game? Because back then, Rangers fans were expecting a free 4-5-0 win. Celtic looked like they were on the ropes. I wonder how things would have played out had Rangers won that game. And I think Michael Beale will know that is the game that ultimately got him sacked here, because Rangers obviously lost to Kilmarnock, but I think, and they got pumped at the Champions League by PSV, but the fans were almost not bothered because they were putting all their hopes, they were putting all the eggs into one basket that Rangers would pump Celtic at Ibrox in the Old Firm game in the league, and that didn't happen. And for me, that is really where the downfall started for Michael Beale. He hasn't recovered from that. So yeah, guys, that's my opinion. Let me know your thoughts down below. We'll catch you in the next one. Been Fog Football, thanks for watching, and peace.